Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Discovery Garden Live. I am Miss Kelsey. I'm filling in for Miss Krysti today. So Miss Krysti is not with us, but we have Miss Maryjo with us this morning.
Good morning, Miss Kelsey.
Good morning. It's so fun to be here with you this
Well,
morning.
we're happy you came today.
Yes.
It's always fun to be with librarians.
Oh, yes. We're very, very cool. I think.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So what do you think about this weather?
I'm loving this weather.
Isn't it awesome?
I keep waiting for the leaves to start turning colors and falling to the ground because then we can walk on them and crunch on them and jump on them.
Yes.
It'll be fun.
Isn't that the best?
It is the best. And it's cooler.
Much cooler. I love that. And I absolutely love the colors. So today we have a story just about that. So this is called Fletcher and the Falling Leaves, and it is by Julia Rawlinson. And kind of looks like what it's going to look like outside here before long. What do you think?
I think so. I'm trying to figure out what kind of animal Fletcher is.
Oh,
I guess we'll have to find out when we hear the book.
I think so.
All right.
Oh, and look at that tree.
It's getting there.
It is. The world was changing. Each morning when Fletcher bounded out of the den, everything seemed just a little bit different. The rich green of the forest was turning to a dusty gold, and the soft swishing sound of summer was fading to a crinkly whisper. Fletcher's favorite tree looked dull, dry, and brown. Fletcher was beginning to get worried.
Worried?
Worried. I think my tree is sick, said Fletcher. What's wrong with it? His mother asked. Its leaves are turning brown, said Fletcher. Don't worry, it's only autumn, she said. Fletcher ran back to his tree and patted the rough bark. Don't worry, it's only autumn, he said. You'll be feeling better soon. But the tree didn't get better. Each day, more leaves turned brown. One morning, the wind blew a small brown leaf off of a branch. Fletcher jumped up and caught it very gently in his paws. You see, there he is jumping to catch a leaf.
That's fun.
That is fun. I've done that before.
I have too.
And there he is. Don't worry, tree. I've got your leaf. I'll fix you. Fletcher looked around, picked a piece of grass, and carefully tied the leaf to a branch. That's a good idea. Just then, another gust of wind ruffled Fletcher's fur. The little leaf shook itself free and fluttered back to the ground. And look at him. He looks so disappointed.
I bet. He's going to have a lot of work tying on those leaves.
Fletcher picked it up again and thought very hard. Then he poked the leaf onto a twig and pushed it down firmly. Now, you hold on tight, said Fletcher. No more flying around. The little leaf gave a tiny rustle in reply. Very cute. The next day, a strong wind was blowing through the forest. Fletcher rushed out of the den and ran all the way to his tree. Lots of branches were bare, and little lost leaves spun everywhere. Don't worry, I'll catch them for you, I promise. Round and round and round whirled Fletcher after the swirling leaves. Look at all of the leaves falling off the tree and swirling in the wind.
I don't know how he could catch them all.
I don't either.
That wind is fierce.
It is. He's very determined, though. Leaves, wonderful, just what I need for my nest, said a squirrel. But these belong to the tree, said Fletcher. Don't take them away. The tree doesn't need them anymore, said the squirrel, bounding off. Help! Help! The wind and the squirrel are stealing our leaves, cried Fletcher. Leaves, terrific. Just what I need to keep warm, said a porcupine, rolling around. But these belong to the tree, said Fletcher, plucking leaves from the porcupine's needles. Not anymore, snuffled the porcupine, and away he rolled. Help! Help! The wind, the squirrel, and the porcupine are stealing our leaves, cried Fletcher. Lots of animals use leaves.
Yeah, I see that.
Suddenly, a flock of friendly birds swooped down from the sky. They picked up the leaves in their beaks and poked them onto the tree's branches. Soon the tree was leafy again, and Fletcher flopped down and smiled. Thank you, birds, thank you, he gasped as the birds fluttered away. He lay looking up through the leaves at the sky and drifted off to sleep. But the wind continued to blow, and the branches still danced. The leaves shivered and shook themselves and began to wriggle free. They tossed and turned and twitched and twirled and tumbled to the ground. They brushed Fletcher's ear and nose and filled his dreams with a whispering sound. Sounds like a nice nap.
I think so.
When Fletcher finally woke up, he couldn't believe his eyes. Instead of the roof of dancing leaves, all he could see were bare branches against the sky. "Oh, tree, I'm so sorry," gulped Fletcher. "All your leaves are gone." But then he saw, high in the branches, one small leaf still holding on. "I won't let the wind steal that one," said Fletcher as he began to climb. And there Fletcher is climbing the tree. He crawled along to the last leaf and held it firmly onto its branch. All day long the wind blew and the branch bounced, and Fletcher held tight. "I'll stay with you, leaf," he said. "Don't worry." He's very brave.
I'll say.
But then, with a sudden whoosh of wind, the branch bounced high. With a plip, the leaf let go and fluttered like a little flag clutched in Fletcher's paw.
Uh-oh.
I know. He looks so sad. Fletcher looked sadly at the leaf he had promised to save. He carried it carefully down the tree and back to the den. He made a cozy little bed for it and gently tucked it in, but all night long he could only think of his tree all on its own. That's very sad. At dawn, Fletcher tiptoed outside. The wind had finally stopped blowing and the air was cold. The moon still hung in the clear sky and pale stars glimmered. As he came to his favorite tree, Fletcher saw a magical sight. The tree was hung with 1,000 icicles, shining silver in the early light. "You are more beautiful than ever," whispered Fletcher. "But are you all right?" A tiny breeze shivered the branches, making a sound like laughter. And in the light of the rising sun, the sparkling branches nodded. Fletcher gave his tree a hug. Then he went back to the den for a nice, warm breakfast. See, look how pretty the tree is with all the icicles.
That's amazing.
That is. And then comes winter.
It must have been frosty in the night.
It must have been. I've seen trees like this a lot in the winter.
Have you?
I have. They're so pretty.
I think Fletcher must be a fox.
I think Fletcher is a fox, and a very cute fox at
And
that.
he had all those other friends, porcupine,
Yes.
squirrel,
Yes.
and they were all looking to do the same thing, which was use the leaves.
Exactly.
Hmm.
They can use them to keep warm and build their nest. Leaves are very, very
They
multifunctional.
must, even though they're crunchy, they must be warm.
They must be. Good insulation, maybe.
Maybe that's it.
That's it.
Insulation. What a nice word. Good morning, boys and girls. Hi, moms and dads, grandmas and grandpas. We're so glad you came to join us today. Show me 5, boys and girls. Show me 5. 5. 5 little acorns hanging on a tree. Along came Squirrel, as hungry as can be. Then the autumn winds blew and rustled all the leaves, and down came the acorns. Wasn't Squirrel pleased? I think the tree gave him some nuts to eat. It's wonderful. Well, today's story, Miss Kelsey, is about some animals who were in the woods with the leaves, and it kind of reminds me of your story.
Oh.
Yeah. So in the woods, the leaves were falling to the ground, and just like you said, they were red and orange and brown and yellow, and that's because all the green chlorophyll was falling out of the leaves.
Oh, so that's what it is.
Yeah, and then the colors show themselves, and that's why we have such beautiful colors, especially in the sugar maple trees.
Oh, yes.
They have beautiful leaves like these. Well, the squirrel was bouncing all around with his little flippy tail, you know how they do, and he was searching and searching and searching for nuts. And he wanted to put these nuts aside for his winter dinners. And so he scurried this way and he scurried that way, and he rustled in the leaves, and he found acorns and buckeyes and walnuts, and he was feeling really satisfied. But he wasn't the only one in the woods. Oh no. That day in the woods, there were 5 mice brothers. Can you count them? 1. Whoop. He's really busy looking. 2, 3, 4, 5. And they were scurrying all around in the leaves, searching for seeds because their mouths were too small for big nuts. The squirrel could eat the big nuts, but the little tiny mice, they were looking for seeds. Sunflower seeds and pine cone seeds, all kinds of seeds, because they wanted to store up for winter as well. Now, at that very moment, one of the mice brothers said to the others, do you smell that? Smell what? They asked each other. I think I smell something in the woods. Could it be the wind? Maybe. Could it be the chipmunks? Maybe. Could it be humans? Likely. So the mice brothers said to each other, hurry and hurry and hurry. Gather up as many seeds and put them into your cheeks like this. And run and get as many as you can, because soon it will be time to go back home. And at that very moment, what should come into the woods but a snake? Now, snakes need to eat too. And this snake was particularly hungry because he hadn't eaten in a whole week. And he went slithering and slithering and slithering through the woods, searching for something good to eat. Now, at that very moment, he spied the mice brothers, and he thought to himself, mice. I haven't had any mice to eat in a long time. And look, there's so many of them. I could eat one today and one tomorrow and one the day after that. Ooh, how delicious. And he said to himself, but if I don't eat them all today, how will I save them? Oh, I know, said the snake. I will get my jar. I will get my jar and I will put them in my jar, and then they will be there when I want to eat them later. So the snake sneaked up onto the mice. And it was too late when the mice noticed him, and they said, eek, it's a snake! And with that, the snake pounced, and he picked up the mice, and he popped them into his jar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the little mice in the jar were all confused and upside down and scared. And they said, please, please, Mr. Snake, don't eat us. Yes, I'm going to eat you. No, said the mice brothers, don't eat us. I know, you should eat our big cousin. He is much, much bigger than us. What? You have a cousin who is bigger than you? Yes, I would enjoy eating him. Where is he? Well, he's over there. He's over there in the woods. He's searching for food, for seeds. You can find him over there. Okay, said the snake. You just stay right here and I will be back to eat you soon. Now, what the snake did not know was that there was no cousin. There was no mouse over in the woods, but there was a rock. And the rock was buried under some leaves. So the snake went searching for this cousin, and he searched and he slithered and he slithered and he searched, and he kept looking high and low, trying to find that cousin. Now, the mice in the jar said to each other, we got to get out of here. If we don't get out of here, the snake is going to eat us for lunch. I do not want to be snake food, do you? No, said all the brothers. We must get out of this jar. I know, said the little brother on the bottom. He said, we should rock the jar. And so they did. They rocked the jar this way. They rocked the jar that way. They rocked the jar to the right, to the left. And they rocked it around and around and around, and it spun faster and faster and faster until it fell over. And all the little mice scurried out. Oh, finally, we're out of that jar. But we better hide before that snake comes back. Now, so the mice gathered in a little pile and they laid on top of each other. And the ones on the top said, "Everybody, hurry, tuck your tails in. Don't let the snake see us. And cover yourselves with leaves so that the snake won't smell you either." And so that is just what they did. Oops, tucking your tail there. And so they said, "Shh, be quiet. Don't let the snake hear you." So at that very moment, the snake said, "I think I smell a mouse. I'm going to get that cousin. Oh, I see him. He's hiding there under the leaves." And the snake reared up as high as he could on his tail. He was very tall, and he went, "Gotcha now. Jump." Ow! 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 My aching tooth. What trickery is this? And he pushed the leaves aside and he said, "What? This is not a mouse, cousin. This is a rock." Ooh, that makes me mad. That makes me so mad. Wait till I get back and I'm going to eat those mice. I'm going to eat them all today. I'll show them not to trick a snake. And the snake hurried, slithering back through the woods. And he got back to where his jar was. And then he said, "What? What is this? Where are my mice?" "Whoa, I am so mad. Now I do not have any supper. Where could those tricky mice be? I'm going to find them and I'm going to eat them up." And the snake looked here and the snake looked there and he looked here and he looked over there, but he could not find the mice. "Drats," said the snake, "another day when I don't have any food. And besides that, I have an aching tooth. Those mice were too tricky. I hope I never see them again." And then the woods became very quiet. And the mice under the pile of leaves said, "I think the snake is gone. I think it might be safe to come out." "Are you sure?" said the brothers. "Yeah, I'm pretty sure." So the mice came out from their hiding place. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And they said, "Whew, that was a really close call. From now on, we will have to set up a watch because we do not want to be by that snake ever again. It was too scary." "Yes, yes," said all the brothers. And with that, they took their seeds and scurried as fast as they could all the way back to their hiding place. And if they're not gone, they're probably sleeping in their hiding hole right now. The end.
That was such a good story, Miss Maryjo.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your story was fun too.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I just think it's a good time to take a walk in the woods.
Oh, yes.
And we could look for seeds and leaves and all kinds of nuts and footprints.
Oh.
Because sometimes when you go into the woods and you look in the mud, you see footprints. Like, for example, when I have been to the woods, I have seen dog prints and deer prints. And once I even saw horse prints.
Oh.
I did not know that horses lived in woods.
Me either.
Maybe they were just visiting.
I think they probably were.
Probably like people. Yeah.
True.
Well, I hope you get to take a walk in the trees and leaves and go to the woods and see what you can see. I bet you would see squirrels, and I bet you would not see a porcupine.
Probably.
No, because the porcupines, they sleep during the day and they only come out at night. They're called nocturnal. You knew that, right, Miss Kelsey?
I did.
Yeah. And so you probably wouldn't see a porcupine, but they're there.
They are. I see a lot of raccoons where I live.
Raccoons?
Yes.
Oh, they have funny little faces. They look like they're wearing little eye masks.
They do.
I bet they're getting ready for Halloween.
They probably are. I can't blame them though.
That would be fun.
Halloween's my favorite.
I know. Do you have any library news for us?
Not that I can think of. Just always join us here for Discovery Garden Live. And we have Wiggle Worm story times on Mondays at 11. I believe so. So make sure you tune in for those, and hopefully I'll get to see you again soon.
Has the library received any new books?
Oh, we've received a lot of new books.
Like 10 new books or more?
More.
Oh my. So we
Yes.
should come to the library and find out what the new books are.
You definitely should, because you'll probably see me in the children's room here at Maine reading them, because that's my favorite thing to do.
Well, sure. Reading is great fun.
It is.
Well, maybe you will hide some of them like the squirrels hide and look for nuts. And then we will be the squirrels too, and we will search for all the new books you hide.
That's a very good idea, Miss Maryjo. You might have to do that.
Wouldn't that be fun? You could put a little squirrel bookmark in those books, and then we know it was from you.
That's a very good idea. I'll have to think on that one some more.
You will. You'll trick us. I know that. You have good ideas.
Yes.
Well, we will be in the park tomorrow down at the Heilman Shelter, which is behind the swimming pool and the volleyball courts, for Explorers Club. And this month we are learning all about what animals do to prepare for winter. And so there's lots of changes that happen in nature during the autumn. And we're looking particularly at the habits of squirrels, because down in the city park, there are many, many squirrels. And this week we'll be visiting the ducks and the geese to see what they're up to.
Oh,
So I guess it's time to say goodbye.
that's my least favorite part.
I know, but I'll see you soon.
Okay.
And we sing goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. Goodbye, friends. We'll see each other soon. Chicka, chicka, boom, boom. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Goodbye, Miss Kelsey.
Goodbye, Miss Maryjo.